All right. Hello and welcome. Should be up and running now. Apologize. I apologize for the delay. My office PC was taking a long time to reboot for me, but let me get this announcement out. Okay. So, quite a bit I want to talk about this morning. One of the more interesting developments is something I've been talking about the past couple days, which is the M earnings and also um, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, cost, etc. And one of the things that I had said about that was that the June flow on it sort of gave me the indication that the whole retail apocalypse that was initiated by Walmart and Target earnings might not necessarily carry over to these other stocks, and that the June flow indicated a potential, in fact, indicated a potential reversal. And I did not enter the earnings on any of these. I just didn't feel like it was wise to do that, just in this environment. But definitely in the aftermath, I think that there is certainly a lot of potential here, and it's going to be interesting to see how the market wants to react to what we saw here. So you see Macy's up 13%. Really excellent beat there, and we'll see what Dollar Tree is doing. So Dollar Tree up 15% on earnings, really excellent. And in the bigger picture, you can kind of see what that would do, is recover a lot of the drop it had on the Walmart Target situation. And up here, these are all-time highs on it. So yeah, it kind of makes you wonder. I mean, 130, 153.75 is about right here. Is this potentially going to start moving back up towards all-time highs? Maybe get in a channel up here. If it does that, it'd be really excellent for trading, just to get in a kind of reliable channel if it can form some support up here. But we'll see. We'll see what it wants to do, if it wants to give any of that back. And we had Dollar General as well, 11%, back up to 218. And again, look at this line right here. This is where it's capping out right now on its gains. And this was a spot in March where it dipped again. I think it was all-time highs on Dollar General too. But yeah, anyway, so it's an interesting level for sure that both of them came right back to a spot where they had a bounce towards all-time highs. So we'll see if they do that. They were impressive earnings beats. If you have a chance to look at the earnings there, and so both companies are looking really strong. Let's see what cost is doing. Cost is well, I'm sorry, they don't have earnings. Oh, they have earnings after hours. Okay, so we'll see. But I would expect then there's a decent chance, because of what happened with Dollar General and Dollar Tree, that cost could get a little bit of a run up to earnings, and then who knows what's going to happen during their earnings. But it's a stock that's coming off all-time highs as well. Although its fall was a little um, more gradual than what we saw with Dollar Tree and Dollar General. A couple other stocks I thought were interesting today. You have Bidu had earnings, and they are up 5.56. and ABA 4.69%. So both of those are good. Good sign for the Chinese ADRs. There could be some trades trades in there if you do trade those. And then from last night, snow is down, but has recovered a little bit. If you read their report, it's they had some misses and some significant areas, but it's a company that they do have a lot of cash. Their call was pretty good, and I think if the market is decent today, you could certainly see that get into the 120s, just based on a kind of earnings recovery bounce. So that that's something that you might watch as well. And then of course the big show was Nvidia, which dipped all the way down, I think, to over 8% down, and then has recovered. If the market is actually positive today, that is going to probably come all the way back. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. You can see the indices are up a bit. SPY up more than QQQ. Makes sense because it includes some of the consumer cyclical stuff. But okay, so that's a quick overview of just the charts and some of the earnings aftermath, so you can look at. In terms of the flow, if we'll start with hot chains and kind of see what's what. I'll hide the indices, and let's see what we got here. All right, so going into my sectors, basic materials is a sector I often trade in. We have a lot of bullish activity on Vail. We have Wales in particular taking this contract here, volume of 40,000 for Vail 19C. Let's see where Vail is. So Vail does have a dividend coming up, I think. No, maybe not. All right, so they don't. All right, so none of this flow is going to be dividend related. That contract I was looking at was out of the money anyway. And so Vail at 19 be kind of up here. Definitely feasible. I've been looking for a move on steel for a while now, and end up kind of with swing starters, and then I end up just selling them when they're up because they start dipping back down. So a lot of false starts there. We see CLF up a bit, but Vail, Brazilian steel stock, and they export iron ore, manganese, iron alloys, and nickel is part of what they do as well. So nickel had been spiking a lot. It kind of fell back, and Vail fell with it. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of worth watching. I think Vail is one of the more intriguing setups I'm seeing in this sector. Of course, I'm always into AMRS and what whales are doing there. And so here we have whales getting a little bit more aggressive, I think, with AMRS, shorter term contract for September. A lot of the flow on it had been for December. And AMRS is a stock that can move pretty large and can work well for day trades. So we can see it's up 1.89, and basically anywhere around $2 has been pretty good on it. Under 2 if you can get it. I don't know if we're going to fall to that though. And just looking for move to to 250, over 250, and then you scale out and you see if we can break through. Other way to play AMRS is to just buy some leaps at 2C, 3C, and just forget about it and see what happens. They I mean, not that that's a way to typically trade, but they're cheap enough, and I think the overall trend is going to reverse to 4. Uh, Hard to say when, but if you give yourself months and months of time, then as long as it starts to move that direction, you'll be fine. And if you just were to throw $50 or a couple $100 at it, and your risk reward is there. I mean, if you might have a cutoff in mind. If this goes down 30%, I'm just gonna cut it loose, but it very well could double or triple, and then you just manage your position from there. So I like the risk reward on AMRS when it's down here, and again, it works for shares and day trades once it gets moving as well. Okay, so that's kind of what jumps out in that sector. Communication services, clearly AMC was one of the big stories yesterday, along with a rebound in Snap. Snap came back a little quicker than maybe I had thought, and we're just going to see if Snap can continue. Anytime you get a stock that takes such a drastic drop like this, you're likely to get some volatility. Not doing much in the pre-market, but in terms of the hot chains, we did have volume popping up on these, and it's not surprising at all that volume would exceed open interest on contracts that just the day before were so deep in the money. So something to watch for sure. We'll see what picks up with Snap, but you can see it was dominated by bullish chains yesterday. And then AMC, if you do trade that one, is up a little bit in the pre-market. So you certainly could see memes spike at open. I think that's a definite possibility. Hard to say if they'll hold on to that or not. But I could definitely see GME, for example, jumping up to 120 just based on the strikes I saw, and then we'll see what happens from there. Okay, so oops, here we go, and let me just get into some small caps in this sector, see what's going on. I mean, I could tell here, Fubo is one that usually interests me, and Groupon had a pickup in call volume of 1,624%. So I can actually take a look at those. So Fubo, yeah, up in the pre-market. I've been liking this one in the lower threes in this new environment that we're in. It you can see it's just been kind of bouncing around a little bit down here. So so it's kind of been quick scalps. You get your 3-5%, and it gives it back. And I think that, like a lot of stocks, just kind of waiting for that environment where it can make a sustained move. There certainly is a path back to $4 on Fubo. I kind of see it as maybe like a $6 to $8 stock by the fall if the market, just kind of gets through all this a bit and starts to reverse. I don't expect some dramatic COVID style recovery or anything, but I think that some of these stocks like Fubo can start to kind of claw their way out of it. And even to get to $6 is not anything compared to what it used to be. But that's fine. We're going to trade what's here, and for now, I want to see it get to 4 and hold on to it, and not just give it right back, and then we kind of go from there. So there's sort of two trades I think about here. There's just the day trading. It dips to the lower threes, catch a move to 350 and maybe 360, see what happens. And then just a longer term planning, trying to see it get to 4, and then see what the whales want to do after that. The actual contracts on it, I don't know why this is taking so long. Just redo this. Okay, so we'll go into communication services, small caps. All right, that doesn't want to come up, so I will go to the dashboard instead. Show you what I was looking at. Okay, so you see some Groupon here, and this is the flow that the site was kind of picking up on, and the contracts. I mean, they do have quite a bit of volume on both sides, but it's Groupon is in a category of stock that has some interest for me, and you can see it had this 22% day yesterday, so it kind of caught on with the rebound and Snap and a few others, and so that 22% gain and then the 2% gain today just now gets us back to around where it was on or a little higher than its last earnings rundown and earnings debacle. So Groupon, definitely one to watch. A move that dramatic, could see a pullback, although we are seeing it go a little more in the pre-market, so that's good. But definitely a stock that interests me, and a kind of category of stock that interests me are these apps and app services, and it's just been a really brutal environment for those. So as the market turns around, if it does, they have a lot of room to go, and they do have flow that pops up that you can certainly read. And then Momo was the other one. We're seeing a similar kind of thing this morning, where these stocks that ran really hard yesterday are having a decent pre-market as well. Okay, so go into consumer cyclical, and yeah, so this is something that I kind of have been noticing the past couple days, or that whales are cycling through these bullish positions on mall stocks, and with the earnings beat for M, certainly makes some sense why they would do that. So GES is Guess, and Guess had earnings yesterday, so that was a bet on their earnings, and spiked and kind of fell back. But anyway, the whole mall thing, is kind of a theme that we could see continue to take shape. Very possible that these stocks will just give a lot of this back, but it potentially could be a decent reversal just based on where they are in the chart. They do have some pretty big gap fills ahead, so something to watch in the aftermath of these earnings is can momentum continue, and that's some intraday flow that I'll be interested in for that reason. And get into these. Yeah, you can see GME kind of dominating the list. This M22 call is looking pretty good at this point. You can see whales bet pretty large on that, and it's almost in the money. So very good, very good contracts on a weekly, and we could see it had 202,000 volume. So that was certainly promising. I am starting to see some bullish flow on resorts like Caesar and MGM as well. So we're going to see, what happens there. I mean, obviously had a good day yesterday. Seems to have continued a bit in the pre-market. So yeah, and the pre-market movement in these kind of risk-on stocks and consumer cyclical in particular definitely are setting up to potentially continue today. It's just it's going to kind of depend on the market. We're in the aftermath of the FOMC meeting. Sometimes we sell off that next day. Nothing's guaranteed. QQQ, the level that it's at right now, is interesting. I mean, in that, so you had this pre-market spike, retested it, broke through it, essentially kind of bounced off of it after the whole the big 8 a.m. shakeup in the pre-market that happens every day. And so it came back and tested that, and then went up, and then came right back to it again. So a sort of flat open, and it's a flat open with range to the upside, range to the downside. So if you're scalping this, you can look for a break of pre-market high or pre-market low as a confirmation of a direction or a potential spot for a bounce. And otherwise, if it's kind of just in this range, it can get kind of hard to trade, I think. So you want some kind of confirmation, I would say. All right, so one more stock I'm interested in today, and then I'll wrap up the stream. But Carvana up 16% yesterday. Very much a volatile stocks. Just gonna kind of bounce up and down. Mostly down lately. So we'll see if the market is positive. A 16% move yesterday really isn't even that significant. Could potentially make a run back at 35 today if things are positive. If not, it'll start to peel off some of these gains and get back into the 26, 28 range. If you have some levels on it, that certainly could help. My levels, looking at this, the average true range is it can be tricky when a stock has kind of utterly collapsed. 984 is my number, and if I divide that by 4, so about 250. Okay. So if I set some levels on Carvana at around $2.50 or so. So it closed yesterday at 31.96. So around 33.50. Where's that going to put us? Just looking at some of these candles here. I mean, yeah, that is a decent spot, just in terms of kind of a decision point for it. So, okay, and then like 29.50. I had this line at 29.15 the other day. Just kind of move that up. And okay, yeah, and so it kind of goes there as well. And then I had this line at 33.50, which had been a previous call trigger. I mean, who knows when? Probably last week or something. But yeah, so that might be a level I watch as well. So I might try to play it off 3 levels today. We'll see if 33.50 can. If it breaks that, comes back and bounces, I might just play it off that, and then the upper end we're just gonna scale out or see if it wants to break through. So Carvana, expect big movement today. Not sure on a direction. Uh, Leaning towards up, but we'll see. I try to check my bullish bias. Okay, so that'll do for today's live stream. Thank you for your patience. Again, I'm moving, and I'm also moving offices pretty soon, and I'm taking my family to Chicago for the summer, and then I'm coming back, and then I'm going to Salt Lake City, and then back to Oklahoma, and then to Chicago. So busy summer for me, but I will get the streams in. I will have my standard picks analysis, all of that up, and I will see you guys in Discord today, and I'll see you here on YouTube for the next stream. Thank you.